Assalamu alaikum, dear friends, and welcome to this new video. Today, we are tackling a crucial subject that directly affects our daily lives: jobs and sources of income in the light of our religion. Imagine for a moment. You work hard every day, you earn a salary, you feed your family. But what would happen if this income was considered illicit according to our faith? It is a question that many of us prefer to avoid, but one that could have eternal consequences. Let us remember this fundamental truth. Muslims must strive to earn their living in a halal manner, to engage in lawful activities, and to feed their families pure food. The consequences of ignorance or negligence in this regard can be serious. Imagine on the day of judgment, when your own body will testify against you, when your family itself will complain, saying, "Oh Allah, He fed us with unlawful things." Let me tell you this edifying story. One day, our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, took the hand of Sa'ad al-Ansari and noticed that it was covered with calluses. "What are these marks on your hands?" asked the Prophet. Sa'ad replied humbly, "They are the marks of the shovel with which I work to provide for the lawful needs of my family." The Prophet then made this magnificent promise: "These hands will never be touched by the fire of hell." In our modern world, dominated by the unbridled race for profit, many people are abandoning these essential principles. Is this not exactly what our Prophet, peace be upon him, predicted when he said that a time would come when people would no longer care whether their wealth was acquired lawfully or unlawfully? Let us examine together 7 sources of problematic income in our present-day society. Firstly, transactions based on deception. Remember this powerful teaching. One day, the Prophet, peace be upon him, passed by a wheat merchant and dipped his hand in the pile. Feeling dampness at the bottom, he asked why this wet part was hidden. The seller replied that it had gotten wet from the rain. The Prophet then said to him, "Why didn't you put the wet part on top so that people could see it? Whoever deceives us is not one of us." This lesson is still highly relevant today. Think of all the dubious commercial practices: hiding a product's defects, diluting goods, selling counterfeits. Isn't this a form of deception condemned by our religion? Secondly, let us talk about the legal professions. Being a lawyer or a judge is not intrinsically prohibited. On the contrary, defending the oppressed and upholding justice are acts of worship in our religion. But what about the lawyer who knowingly defends a guilty person to make him appear innocent? Is this not perverting justice and earning a living by unlawful means? Thirdly, the trade in prohibited objects. If our religion prohibits certain objects, their trade is logically just as reprehensible. Whether they are gambling instruments, certain musical instruments, or statues intended for worship, the rule is clear. Their sale is not a lawful source of income. Fourth, smuggling. Transgressing the commercial laws of a state leads to social disorder and often to corruption. Our religion teaches us to respect public order and preserve social peace. How then can we justify activities that undermine these fundamental principles? Fifth, the acting profession deserves reflection. Islam values useful and productive work. Making people laugh is not forbidden in itself. The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself sometimes joked with his companions. But this activity becomes problematic when it involves lies, obscenities, mockery of religion, or moral injury inflicted on others. Sixthly, network marketing or pyramid schemes. These structures often rely more on recruiting new members than on the actual sale of products. The excessive uncertainty, unrealistic promises, and unjust enrichment that characterize these systems make them incompatible with our religious principles. Finally, and perhaps most prevalent, is working in financial institutions that practice usury. The Qur'an is categorical on this point. Fear Allah and give up what remains of the interest if you are believers. And if you do not do it, then receive the announcement of war from Allah and His Messenger. Al-Baqarah 278-279. Think for a moment about the gravity of this warning. A war declared by Allah and His Messenger. Could there be a more severe warning? And yet, how many of us work in these institutions, whether as directors, accountants, maintenance workers, or guards. The hadith is explicit. Cursed are those who consume interest, those who give it, those who write it down, and those who witness it. If you currently find yourself in such a situation, know that it is never too late to change. Allah promises us in the Qur'an, "Whosoever fears Allah, He will grant him a favorable outcome and provide for him in a way he does not expect." At-Talaq 65, verse 2-3. Dear friends, our professional choices are not insignificant. They shape our life here on earth and our destiny in the hereafter. Remember this wisdom. The boundaries of the lawful are clear, as are those of the unlawful. Between the two are gray areas that many are unaware of. He who participates in a good deed reaps a share of the reward, and he who contributes to a bad deed bears a share of the sin. Allah sees all and rewards each according to his deeds. I invite you to meditate deeply on these teachings and examine your own source of income. Is it truly halal? If doubts persist, is it not preferable to seek a safer alternative for your faith? If these reflections have been beneficial to you, please feel free to share this video and subscribe to our channel. In this way, you will help to spread this essential knowledge, perhaps even to non-Muslims who could be inspired by the wisdom of our religion. If I have made any mistakes in my words, they are entirely my responsibility and do not reflect Islam or the words of Allah. I thank you for watching this video to the end and hope to see you again very soon for a new and enriching topic. Until then, may Allah keep you safe. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.